Hello and welcome to Slush Code Universal Tutors. This is Common Entrance Maths Lesson 17. Today we're going to learn how to multiply decimals. And if multiplying decimals looks tricky, don't worry. I'll show you a very simple method, step by step. So now let's get started. So here's the method we'll be using today. First of all, we multiply the numbers as if we're multiplying whole numbers. Then we count how many decimal places there are in the numbers we are multiplying. Then finally, we put the decimal points in the correct place in our answer. Let's start with an easy one. 0.5 times 2. Now look at it, 0.5 has one decimal place, 2 does not. So altogether they have one decimal place. That's aside. So let's pretend or let's just ignore the decimal and multiply 5 and 2. 5 times 2 gives us 10. Now we are going to put back our decimal place, just one decimal place. So for now, imagine 10 having a decimal by the right side. Move it only once. So the decimal comes between 1 and 0. So you have 1.0 as our answer, which is equal to 1. So 0.5 times 2 gives us 1. Now let me explain something real quick. Now for 10, and you have to move your decimal once. You move the decimal from the right to the left. Now you can see not just 10, any number in tens, maybe 20, 30, 40 till 90. In fact, it applies to every number. You can see the progression. When you are moving it once, you move it from the right to the left once. Then if the number is in two decimal places and you need to move it in two decimal places, you move it 2 times, you can see it becomes 0.1. If you're moving it 3 times, you move it 3 times, 1, 2, 3, it becomes 0.010. You know the extra 0 by the right does not change the value. I'm just adding it so that you see exactly what it is. You can see 10, it moves to 1, it moves to 0.1, 0.01, 0.001. So whenever you're moving it, you move it from right to left, the number of times you're supposed to move it. Our example 2 is 0.5 times 0.2. First of all, you pretend there's no decimal. So you multiply 5 by 2 and it gives us 10. Okay, let's go back to the numbers we were given. 0.5 has one decimal place. 0.2 has one decimal place. So together they have two decimal places. You can see that, right? So you can tell the answer before we go to the next slide. Okay, so we got 10 after multiplying 5 and 2. And we have to move our decimal 2 times because they have two decimal places, right? So 0.5 times 0.2 gives us 0.10. You know, if you move your decimal from the 0 on the right 2 times, you see you move it 2 times, you get 0.10, which is the same thing as 0.1 because that last 0 by the right does not change the value of the number. Hope you understand that. Our next example is 1.2 times 3. So once again, we'll pretend there's no decimal. We'll multiply 12 by 3 and we get 36. Remember, 1.2 has one decimal place. So we just return the decimal place from 36, it becomes 3.1. We move the decimal from right to left, and that's our answer, 3.6. Example 4, we have 0.25 times 4. So you can see 0.25 has two decimal places, but 4 does not have. So we simply pretend there's no decimal or we just ignore the decimal. So we multiply 25 by 4 and it gives us 100. Now, moving our decimal 2 times, two decimal places. For 100, you move it 2 times, 1, 2, from right to left. And then our answer is 1.00, which is the same thing as 1. Okay, let's bring in a real life example. One apple weighs 0.2 kg. We are doing this because a lot of us like fruits. We like food. We like food, not to hurt ourselves though, but we like the sound of food. So one apple weighs 0.2 kilogram. How much do 5 apples weigh? So if one weighs 0.2, how much does 5 apples weigh? It means we are multiplying 0.2 by 5 or 5 by 0.2. For the solution, I know that since we mentioned apple, a lot of us already got the answer, right? Okay, 0.2 times 5. 0.2 has one decimal place, 5 does not. So altogether we have just one decimal place. So 2 times 5 gives us 10. So moving the decimal one time from the right to the left, we have 1.0 kilograms or 1 kilogram. That is our answer. Now your turn. What is 0.4 times 3? Now you can pause the video and work it out. For the solution, 0.4 times 3. Once again, we ignore the decimal. But remember, 0.4 has one decimal place, but 3 does not. So we ignore the decimal and we multiply 4 by 3. And our answer is 12. So for our decimal place, we have one decimal place. We have one place to move our decimal. So we move our decimal from right to left. And we have 1.2. So 1.2 is our answer. One more before we wrap up for today. 0.3 times 0.2. You can pause the video and try it yourself. So 0.3 and 0.2, they each have one decimal place. So we ignore the decimals as usual. 3 times 2 gives us 6. So for 2 decimal places, you move your decimal from right to left 2 times. And when you move it, you get 0.06. And that's our answer. Always remember the rule. Multiply the numbers, count all decimal places, and then put the decimal point in the answer. You are always good to go with this. This is Slush Code Universal Tutors, where we learn, practice, and excel. See you in lesson 18.